Hello, my name is Steve Buchanan. I'm the inventor of the continuous wave of obturation technique. It came about when I was trying to simplify Schilder's vertical condensation with warm gutta percha technique, and what came out of that effort was something different, the continuous wave of obturation technique. In the late 60s, Dr. Herbert Schilder at Boston University set the standard for three-dimensional root canal filling when he invented the vertical condensation with warm gutta percha technique. While the anatomic complexity of root canals had been known since the early 1900s, Dr. Schilder was the first to create a predictable procedural solution to filling these intricate root canal systems to their full apical and lateral extents. I was taught his technique in dental school. I was amazed by the results, and I used it in my first 10 years of practice. I enjoyed the way Schilder's technique consistently filled lateral and accessory canals, but found that it was time-consuming in my hands, requiring 3 hand pluggers per canal, an electric heat carrier, and somewhere between 3 to 5 steps to complete just the downpack. Beyond that, it was a challenge to teach other dentists. So I wondered, how could this be simpler and more efficient? With that thought, I asked the manufacturer of the touch and heat electric heat source if they could make an electric heat plugger that would match the canal shapes we were creating at the time. I hoped that maybe we could combine the 3 to 5 hand pluggers and the electric heat carrier into a single instrument. Surprisingly, I received the first prototype just a month later. Remarkably, the first time I used it, I filled multiple lateral canals in a 2-second downpack procedure. The continuous wave of obturation technique was born. Deconstructing that success took a bit of thinking, as it was inconceivable to me that a downpack that was that fast could actually provide improved results. I was wrong. Researchers that have compared the continuous wave technique to the Schilder technique have found that it moves more gutta percha into lateral canal spaces. This is because vertical condensation requires multiple waves of condensation, while continuous wave condensation occurs in a single motion. In other words, with each heating and packing cycle of vertical condensation, the hydraulic pressures in the canal are dissipated, while continuous wave condensation captures and increases that internal pressure as the continuous wave electric heat plugger drives through the canal to its final position. So, unlike vertical condensation, centered continuous wave condensation causes a streaming effect that fills lateral canals throughout the downpack, short as it may be. That streaming effect, along with the fact that the gutta percha is being condensed at exactly the same time it's being heated, is the reason it fills more lateral canals with gutta percha and sealer, rather than mostly just sealer, which happens with vertical condensation. The instruments and materials for the continuous wave technique are as follows. First, let's start with the sealer. What I've observed in my practice and teaching endeavors is that Kerr's pulp canal sealer is essential to 3D obturation techniques because of its biocompatibility and its viscosity. Biocompatibility is important because 3D obturation techniques will move small puffs of sealer beyond the ends of primary and lateral canals. I've also found that the viscosity of pulp canal sealer is important as it helps to hold a master gutta percha cone in place when pluggers are removed to continue the procedure. These are the continuous wave hand pluggers. You can see they have rigid stainless steel ends for condensing warm gutta percha at the orifice level of canals, and they have flexible nickel titanium ends for condensing deeper in canals. These pluggers are designed in a system-based approach, so they work well with the elements-free downpack and backfill devices. Although only one of these is needed to obturate a given canal, continuous wave electric heat pluggers are available in several taper sizes: 04, 06, 08, 10, and 12. So there are sizes for the smallest to largest canal shapes clinicians will encounter in practice. They're typically chosen after fitting and before cementation of master gutta percha cones. I leave both the elements-free devices on the charger stand, so I always have a full charge during filling procedures. Cordless means no more tangled cords to sort out before filling procedures. No more worry about the awkwardness of cords laying across a patient's chest, and the portability of these devices is an excellent feature for general dentists. After turning the downpack device on, you can see how different pre-programmed temperature modes shown on the digital displays can be intuitively selected. The downpack device has a temperature range of 100 to 400 degrees Celsius. Another helpful elements-free design detail is the way continuous wave pluggers can be inserted and replaced without having to loosen and tighten a collet, which makes obturation of multi-canal teeth more efficient. The elements-free cordless heat source is ergonomically designed so it feels nicely balanced in my hand, and the 360-degree activation ring makes it easy to switch on and off while accomplishing the down pack, a critical factor in successful obturation. It's the attention to detail that makes the elements-free down pack device so easy to use. An example is the ridge just short of the ring switch, which aids maintenance of apical pressure during the sustained condensation stroke without inadvertent reheating of the continuous wave plugger. The down pack is completed by condensing the apical mass of gutta percha left in the canal after the separation burst of heat and withdrawal of the continuous wave electric heat plugger. The gutta percha extruder is motorized for better tactile feel and reduced hand fatigue during backfill procedures. It has aerogel insulation for comfort and patient protection. The gutta percha cartridge eliminates the cleaning procedures required with pellet-based backfill devices, and it provides a fresh needle for every case. The needle is very flexible, and the cartridge has enough gutta percha to backfill a 4-canaled molar. My assistant turns the extruder on just before we begin the down pack, so it's preheated and ready to go when it's time to do the backfill. As soon as the extruder is preheated, the blinking light goes to a steady state, and my assistant double taps the button to prime the needle by moving the gutta percha to the end of the needle in preparation for placing it in the backfill space. After waiting for 5 seconds to allow the needle and gutta percha inside it to return to ideal heat, the actuation button is pressed while a light apical pressure is maintained. After a second or two, and with the exceptional tactile feel of a motor-driven extruder, the needle is felt to bump back and the backfill is in motion. The easiest way to summarize my opinion of the elements-free obturation system is that not only does it look cool, but due to its elegant functionality, it's the only obturation system I use, both in practice as well as for my training center.